Hello and welcome back to the Skipper's View podcast, episode 223. Brett here today. I'm here with my co-host, Hagen. It's been a while. We've been super busy, but I'm glad we got a World Series preview episode coming out now. I was told on my work trip, one of our listeners said we got to have a little bit more intro and rapport at the beginning. So, how you doing before we jump on into the Dodgers Toronto Blue Jays World Series matchup?
I've been doing good. It felt weird not having baseball for a few days. I mean, it's the longest we've gone without baseball since the All-Star break, probably. And before that, it was the off season. So it's always an exciting time when the World Series is coming up, just because you want to see how that season ends. I think it's a great accomplishment on both teams. I think no matter what, like if I was a Blue Jays fan, obviously you want to win it all. Blue Jays or Dodgers fan, you wanted to win it all. But I think you're happy just being in the World Series because it's such a special event and to be here. And then, too, after this, free agency pretty much starts right away, pretty much 5 days after that. So it's a very exciting time.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited to talk free agency, honestly. And I know I should be more hyper focused on the World Series because, we got game one tonight. It just, with our teams out of it, free agency is the most happiness we could find. Yeah, let's jump right into it with the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. Um, by the way, a little background for anyone who's listening live. I'm in your house with four dogs right now. So if you have any barking, my bad in the background. So one, I guess, let's start with hey, I did not expect Toronto to make it to the World Series. I will be totally honest. I was a hater on them all year. They're in the AL East with the Yankees, and obviously they beat the Yankees to go on and advance the ALCS. Hagen, one, let's start right with the. Were you shocked that they were able to take down the Mariners in Game 7 and advance?
I think going into that series, I was already very conflicted on who I wanted to go with. I felt like I remember I believe on our preview did for that I said I had the Mariners in 7, but I thought the Blue Jays were probably had the better chance to do it. So it doesn't surprise me that much. It was just, if you would have told me even beginning of the playoffs, I would have been surprised. I know they had the best record in the American League, but me and you both had just been very big Blue Jays haters this entire year. I don't think by the All Star break, I don't think none of us thought they were even make the playoffs just because we did not like their team and how it's being run, all that. But great, incredible that they made it to the World Series, and I felt like too when they made it over the Mariners. I wanted the Mariners to win that series, but I thought the Blue Jays had a better chance against the Dodgers than the Mariners did, just because the Mariners have kind of lived and died by the home run ball. We saw that when their offense didn't hit the home runs in those big times, they didn't really do it. But the Blue Jays, I mean, they have a 143 WRC plus as a team right now, way ahead of any other team in the postseason right now. And it's their offense is just 1 through 9. They're just putting the ball in play. I think they're doing stuff that plays a lot better in the postseason, like these strikeout guys who hit 40 home runs a year. If they go cold in the postseason, you don't really get anything out of them. But the Blue Jays have these guys put the ball in play, make contact with it, and make things happen, which I think plays better. And I think that's what a team to take down the Dodgers is going to need to do.
Yeah, the Blue Jays they honestly they shut us up, and I have to give them my respect. And obviously now I think I speak for both of us. I'm not saying this is not what our predictions are. I'm just saying I think we're both pulling for them at this point because we both don't want to see a repeat champion. And the Yankees, 1999, 2000, are still the last people to repeat titles in this sport in Major League Baseball. So, some for those who don't actively follow that, um, really exciting stuff when it comes to pro league. Like the one league without a salary cap is the one league that hasn't had a repeat champion. So, um, I guess we'll touch in, give them their kudos, and the Dodgers. We could sit here all day and talk about the roster because it is a fantasy team. It is legitimately a fantasy team in real life. And I think everyone expected them to be here. Then the Dodgers, they had a shaky season in terms of like what their expectations were, not what the final results were. And I want to state it like that because everyone's gonna be like, "What are you talking about? They finished first place in the NL West." That's not what I'm saying. They were shaky compared to what we were expecting them to be. They had injuries all year long to the rotation, as well as the bullpen had not only injuries, but they never fully figured it out. That is also Mookie Betts really was a shell of himself until September, and that's due to what did he lose? 15, 20, 25 pounds in the offseason due to an illness. So
15, I believe, and it was the first. It was in Korea, the first week of the season.
Yeah, it's like Mookie Betts was not himself for a lot of this year. He was one trying to, get back to feeling normal, then getting back to normal weight, and then playing at that. That is a huge body change, especially for an off season. Like to lose 15 pounds due to illness. Like the only time I've ever come close to that was like I think I lost like 12 pounds during COVID, the first wave, and it was like I was miserable, miserable, man. Like so, and like I'm a fat oaf on a couch. This guy's a pro athlete trying to hit 95 with 18 inches of vertical movement. So you have to appreciate that from Mookie Betts. For anyone who's like, oh, what is that? It's like he's a pro athlete. Like it's different. It's totally different than what we've ever seen in our lives. So Dodgers represent the National League. They have a chance to repeat. Blue Jays, American League. First time since 1993, I believe they've been in the World Series. Let's start with the rotations. So, and do we want to just talk about the matchup tonight, or do we want to go dissect one rotation at a time? How do you want to handle this?
Um, I think you could probably start with just the matchup tonight, and then probably dive into rotation a little bit after here. And
Okay.
obviously, I think everybody already knows at this point it's Trey Savage going the rookie for the Blue Jays against Blake Snell right now, and I'm very excited for this game. Obviously, the matchup again, Game 5, most likely as well, if that comes to that. But Blake Snell right now is on a heater. I think he does these every few years or so. When he gets healthy and when he gets in a groove, it feels like he is one of the few top pitchers on the planet. Obviously, he's one of the best pitchers in this generation when he's healthy. And Blake Snell, it's hard to go against him right now. We saw what he did last time in Milwaukee. He's incredible what he's doing right now. You really can't stop him by any means right now. And Trey Savage, I mean, he's just a great story. Obviously, he's going to be the youngest Game 1 starter in 84 years for a World Series game. It's awesome what he's doing. Started the year in high A this year, and he's been phenomenal too for the Blue Jays this year. He's gotten roughed up a couple times on just some long ball stuff when he's had guys on base, but I don't think the numbers really show. I think it doesn't show the whole story. I think if you actually watch the games that he pitched in, he was a lot better than his line showed. But I'm very excited for this game tonight.
Yeah, and like just the pitching matchup tonight, how historical it is. Like you got Trey Savage on one side of it, who made the Yankees look absolutely stupid with that splitter of his, and Toronto, they could have gone with Gausman. Obviously, Gausman came in for relief at the end there that series, so Trey Savage did have a little bit more rest. But Toronto's saying we trust in Trey Savage to take the mound, and I kind of like that a lot, especially and like for Toronto because it is ultimately you're not down in the series and you're letting your young guy go. I think that's a little bit less pressure, and and what's less pressure when it comes to you're starting game 1 of the World Series? That's just about as much pressure as it comes. But the other side of it, Blake Snell, like you just said, when he goes down in these runs, he's the best pitcher in the world when he gets on these heaters. And right now through the playoffs, Trey Savage is 2-1 with a 4.2 ERA with 22 strikeouts. Blake Snell, he's 3-0 with a .86 ERA and 28 strikeouts in the postseason right now. So Blake Snell, not only is he pitching like the best pitcher in the world right now, he is one of 7 pitchers all time to win a Cy Young in both the American and National League. The other 6, Gaylord Perry, Hall of Famer, Randy Johnson, Hall of Famer, Pedro Martinez, Hall of Famer, Roger Clemens, has 7 Cy Youngs and would be a Hall of Famer if it wasn't for PEDs. Roy Halladay, Hall of Famer, RIP. Max Scherzer, he will be a first ballot Hall of Famer when he's ready. And then it's Blake Snell. Blake Snell, it's funny because he's like, when you think about all those names, like Blake Snell, for me, naturally, I just think, oh, he's the worst talented out of all these guys. But dude, he is up there in the conversation with these guys. He's a dog. Blake Snell's an absolute dog. And now
I
you
mean,
have
yeah,
Savages to go against him.
yeah, it's insane. Like I obviously like you think about him with those names, and you normally wouldn't group him in there just because you're going to say, oh, it's Blake Snell, but Blake Snell still has the highest K per nine in MLB history among any MLB pitcher with 11.2. Like he's one of the best K per nine, he's the best strikeout pitcher of all time to this point.
Dude, I'm on his baseball reference. I did not freaking know that. That's insane. I'm looking at it now. Oh my God, you're spot on. So Blake Snell, for people who don't know, yeah, he's 32. He's got 25.1 B WAR across his career, and he's got, let's see, victories, 81 victories in his career, and he has a 3.15 for his career ERA with 2 Cy Young awards. Like, Blake Snell is as good as you're going to get it. I think tonight's matchup, I think it's going to be a pitching duel. I think both teams are been on a little bit of a break, so I think that people are going to be a little bit more hesitant at the plate. I don't know why, and I think these pitchers are going to rack up strikeouts, and it's going to come down to the bullpen tonight in Game One. Obviously, Toronto, what they're looking for, I guess their X factor outside of Vlad being unhuman right now is the fact that Bo Bichette is going to play. I don't know if they've exactly unveiled their plan how to deploy him. He's been banged up, and putting him on the field right away could be a little bit scary. So they might DH him or platoon him. I don't know, but Bo Bichette is back. I think he's the X factor because the Dodgers. I'm not even going to talk about the Dodgers with him. The Blue Jays haven't had Bo Bichette in the lineup for the last 2 series. And the X factor for me on the Dodgers side, it's Blake Snell because he's that I feel is like a walking quality start right now. Who do you think is going to take Game One and take tonight's game? We'll talk about that first before we dive into the full rotations here.
I think just like the way I started this episode is I can't go against Blake Snell right now, and I think Toronto's kind of a similar offense to Milwaukee because I thought Milwaukee against Blake Snell was a very interesting matchup where it was this guy who walks a lot of hitters, normally doesn't live in the zone all the time. How are they going to attack him? And obviously he just cruised through that game and was able to go 8 innings there, and it was incredible what he was doing there. And then the changeup he threw was throwing him so well they couldn't lay off of that. And Toronto's to a team that they're going to put the ball in play a lot, like Milwaukee was going to do, and they're also going to swing a lot freely too. So I'm very curious to see how that's going to go against Blake Snell there, and see if is that going to hurt him? Is it going to work to his advantage? I would probably say more to his advantage, because like you see what the Brewers did too. It's like, all right, we're going to make him come to us. We're not going to chase anything, and then he starts going there and you're an 0-2 count every time. So I think I'm going to go with the Dodgers here tonight. I think Savage also is going to pitch pretty well though, and then just come out of the bullpen after. I think it's just going to matter if is Blake Snell going to go like somebody's done lately and go 8 innings and then just hand it right off to Roki, or is he going to go 6 innings and then you have a bullpen game? Because we know now that if you can get a Dodgers bullpen, the earlier the better. And once I feel like you get to Dodgers bullpen, then you really have a shot in my mind.
Especially with this, devastating news to the Dodgers bullpen. Alex Vesia is not on the roster right now. He has to spend time away from the team for an urgent family matter, and I don't think I've seen anything else come up about it. And I don't need to pry. I don't need to know what it is. If he's missing the World Series, it's a big fucking deal. Prayers, thoughts are out for the Vesia family. I don't know what's going on. But that kind of sucks. And by kind of, it really sucks. Like Alex Vesia has his entire life thought about these moments of playing for a World Series. And like, obviously last year's part of the team, but you only get so many shots at this. We've only had, like I said, we haven't had a repeat champion since 2000. That's 3 careers of baseball players since the last time. Like, how often do guys last in the league? 7-8 years at max, most players. That sucks for the bullpen. He's a really good lefty for the Dodgers. And that might be a story that unfolds here later on that, Dodgers need a lefty reliever. So we'll talk about, let's jump into the rotations as a whole now, because we don't know any other games in the pitching matchups besides Game 2. So Game 2, Kevin Gausman is going to take the bump for Toronto, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto is going to take it for the Dodgers. I like this matchup for Toronto a lot more, Gausman versus Yamamoto. Yamamoto's been incredible, but who do you like better out of those two? Who do you have more faith in?
Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I mean, I know he's 26 when he signed that contract, but there's a reason why he's the highest paid pitcher in Major League Baseball history. there's a reason why they gave him over $300 million before he even threw a pitch in Major League Baseball. It's that's no shy to Gosman though, because Gosman's been great this year too in that splitter, especially it's been dancing lately for him too. So it's gonna be incredible too. I make that sound like it's more just straight Yamamoto, but I think it's a lot closer than it is with the Blake Snell you Savage thing, just because Snell's on a different planet right now. But I think I like that matchup a lot better too for Toronto. And honestly, I don't know how it's worked against LA too, because it's going to be very different for C. Gosman. Obviously, two splitter heavy guys, but Gosman, a guy who lives at the bottom of the zone, likes to overlay those low fastballs with the splitter there, and he's going to live and die by the splitter. You Savage, the highest arm angle in Major League Baseball. He's going to get that high vert on his fastball there, throw it up in the zone, then have that splitter down in the zone too. So three different pitchers there, and that's another great matchup. Like these pitching matchups they have lined up are honestly incredible.
Yeah, it's the two top teams. They're stacked. They are absolutely stacked. And like, dude, we didn't even mention Shane Bieber for Toronto in these first two pitching matchups. We're not mentioning Tyler Glasnow for the Dodgers. Like, this is how deep this series is. Like, so if we look quickly at the Dodgers, the rest of the staff, you got Glasnow and then obviously Ohtani as starters. Out of the bullpen, guys on the roster, they could throw out Sasaki, Sheehan, Trinan, Jack Dreyer, Anthony Banda, Ben Kasparius, Justin Robleski, very famous guy with his jersey in your background. You might know him by Clayton Kershaw. He could start a game. Who knows? Tanner Scott. Like Tanner Scott has been lackluster this year, and I'm hoping that he's able to pitch. Kirby Yates, Kopech. The Dodgers bullpen has just a lot of names. We just don't know how it's going to work out. And like you said earlier, the sooner you can get to the bullpen, the better for Toronto. And then Toronto's rotation, you got Eric Lauer, Shane Bieber, and then guys you could throw out. I'm just looking at the back end here. Actually, you know what? We'll wait. We'll talk about the bullpen in a minute for Toronto, but my edge obviously has to go to the Dodgers rotation wise. Out of all the parts of the episode, I think this was the most like easy Dodgers win this one. Their rotation's disgusting. Do you have any counters or other points about either of the rotations here?
No, it's just so clearly the Dodgers. Yeah, like, and that's no slight. It makes it sound like Toronto starters aren't that good, which they are very good. It's just the Dodgers. I mean, Shohei Ohtani, you're four. Like, no one's really talked about like Tyler Glasnow that much because Yamamoto and Snell have been doing it the best, and then everyone talks about Shohei being the four, but no one talks that Glasnow in 13 innings has a .7 ERA. Like Glasnow's been the second best pitcher this postseason, but that's still pitching. Obviously, Scooble you put up there, but behind Snell, he's been the best just from results wise. It's incredible. I mean, just even as a staff, the Dodgers have a 1.4 ERA in 64 innings right now. Toronto in 51 innings has a 3.3. So like Toronto still has a very good staff this postseason right now, but it's the Dodgers. It's just no talent is beating the Dodgers rotation right now.
Yeah, and this is exactly what the Dodgers were thinking when they gave Snell that contract at the end of last year. They're like, how do we go above and beyond to secure that this happens again next year? And it's like, let's go get the best starting pitcher on the market and give him a long, big deal and get him to play for us here in LA. And so far, it's worked out. And if the Dodgers win a World Series, it's definitely worked out. So, Toronto's rotation, I think that was something always throughout the year. And that I think like it wasn't just me being a hater. During the year, I just kept thinking Toronto's rotation was kind of shoddy in certain spots. And let's also not forget, they didn't have Shane Bieber all year. They got him at the deadline. So Toronto ends up winning the division, and they didn't have Bieber when they went out and got Bieber. They ended up overtaking the Yankees in the AL East and taking the division and becoming the number one seed in the AL. So they made the moves they needed to. I wish they added another piece for depth here because the Dodgers just every night you're going like you are facing a howitzer on the mound, and it's going to be a struggle. Let's pivot. Being that we're trying to get this episode in under 30 and we're at 19. Let's pivot to the bullpens for a little bit. So we highlighted the Dodgers. I named all the Dodgers bullpen pieces already, but they got a lot of pieces. The Blue Jays, they got Hoffman, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Louis Varland, Brandon Little, Dari Rodriguez, Jose Barrios could start. He could also come out of the bullpen. Braden Fisher, some other dudes. So I guess who are some guys you'd like to highlight in either bullpen? Hey, I'll let you start, and then I want to hear what bullpen you prefer in this matchup.
Obviously, those two that I think you should highlight the most with the Dodgers has got to be Roki. We all know that he's the closer there, and then also Blake Trinan because Blake Trinan's so hit or miss now. Like he comes out there, he can be the most dominant 1, 2, 3 inning you've ever seen, or it can be you don't know what the hell is going to happen, and just you're holding the edge of your seat there. So he's one that I'm really going to hone in on there on just how is Blake Trinan looking because if Blake Trinan's shaky, this really changes a lot of things there. And then in the Blue Jays side of things, obviously Hoffman's gotten hot at the right time here. He's been great recently. I think their bullpen's been a lot more overworked, obviously, than the Dodgers. I mean, just even if you want to look down this postseason, Toronto's thrown 45 innings from their bullpen compared to the Dodgers throwing 27. So, and their ERAs are fairly close to each other. They're both the Dodgers are at a 4.88, the Toronto's at a 5.5. So they haven't been great this postseason, but it's very different because I think this rest was good, especially for Toronto, where the Dodgers, there's a lot of arms, and they really haven't thrown that much this postseason. It felt like it's been Roki and Trinan. They've been the only ones really thrown in the playoffs this year for the Dodgers. So there's going to be a lot of guys really haven't thrown much in the postseason, maybe had one outing, and they're going to go out there throwing in the World Series. So are they going to come out slow at all like that? But I think bullpen wise here, I think I hate to do it with the Dodgers. I think this is more of a wash, I would say, if I could do that. But I think I'd probably stay the Dodgers just because they're more fresh right now, and I think that they haven't been as overworked. And I just like their lefties in there too. Like I know Vesey is down, but you still got Bond who come in and be a great lefty matchup for the Blue Jays. Obviously, they don't have as many lefties as the Dodgers there, but I just think the Dodgers, when they're going right, have the better bullpen.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound like a parrot just repeating you here. I think the Dodgers ultimately they just have too many guys where it's like, oh, if he's on, it's like, well, shit. Like, imagine a world where Trinan, Jack Dreyer, let's say Kirby Yates, and let's say Tanner Scott and Roki, let's just say they're all lights out. That's five guys they could throw at you for 5 innings, 1 inning a pop. Like, and that's assuming Snell or Glasnow or Otani or Yamamoto are not getting through five. So I think the Dodgers, what they did, they went out and they obviously got Scott this year. Trinan was on the IL all year last year, and I just think that they look at it like, hey, we're going to place our bets in a lot of guys, and whoever's throwing well at the end, we're going to stick our guns with. And it's kind of the same way with the Blue Jays. They don't have the depth, but they went out and got Hoffman from the Phillies last year for this reason. They knew they had the lineup; they just needed to secure down the bullpen. I think Hoffman's pitching in the right spot. I think that relief pitching is so different from starting pitching. Starting pitching, you just need to temper your emotions if you get hot and like control the game. Relievers in the playoffs, they get brought in for high pressure spots. And you know this. You don't need me to mansplain it. I just think that the Dodgers have too many pieces in the bullpen where if they are in a tough spot, they're going to be able to get out of a jam versus Toronto. And that's the way I'm looking at it. I'm going with the numbers here. I'm going with Toronto. So right now, we both have it, pitching all the way advantage Los Angeles Dodgers here.
And just another real quick point on the bullpen here is I think it's going to be interesting too to see because the Blue Jays obviously we all expect them to use their bullpen more than the Dodgers have if everything goes according to plan. Obviously, it's baseball; anything can happen here, and we're seeing in these series now too, where you're going to see a lot of these relievers who are going to go through the same lanes of hitters multiple times. Now, obviously, you have to pick and choose to hopefully not see the certain lane of hitters, same guys, but like a Louis Varland, he's going to pitch every single game for the Blue Jays. They played 11 postseason games. He's pitched in 10 of them, I believe. So he pretty much going to see him anywhere. But it's like, how does he look? He's been pretty good this postseason too. But it's how does he look when he's seen the Dodgers for it's game 5, let's say, and this is the 5th game he's pitching. Even if it's a couple times, like it's gonna be curious, especially you don't feel very good about it when you're seeing these relievers a lot against the same hitters. Like the Blue Jays are going to have to find some lefty right now who they're going to after Otani and Freeman and those guys. Are you going to feel comfortable with that guy that's not a great lefty by any means facing Shohei 4 times in the series? It's going to get tricky down the stretch for him.
That's a good call out. The one thing I just wanted to check because I was thinking that he could be Kirby Yates. Is he day to day right now? And I missed it.
Honestly, I haven't seen any reports about Kirby Yates at all. He wasn't on the roster from what I saw.
Okay, so I was saying his name, and I probably shouldn't be. So that's on my bad. I was just looking at the Dodgers. I'm at depth chart on MLB.com here, so that's my bad. But we'll keep moving. Even without Yates, I'm still siding with the Dodgers. Moral of the story. So finally, we got the bats, and I'll start, dude. Toronto has proven to me they could put up a 10-piece on anybody. Vladdy, Ethan had a tweet and it was like MLB leaders in these stats in every single statistical category was Vlad Guerrero Jr. He's playing like a madman. He's earned, Toronto fans have to be ecstatic about the contract extension prior to the season now. He's only getting better, it seems like. And they got guys like Springer, Clement, Addison Barger, Bo Bichette's back in this lineup. Ernie Clement's batting like a madman right now. And that's not, Varsho, Alejandro Kirk, like Andres Jimenez is hitting big spots this playoffs. Toronto can bang. Like the names aren't as sexy as the Dodgers, but they could bang. And then when you look at the Dodgers lineup, you got I think the core four is between Otani, Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Will Smith. And then you got backup from Teoscar Hernandez, Muncy, Kiki, playoff murderer Hernandez, who just seems to put up absurd numbers in the playoffs. Tommy Edman, Andy Pejas, like I it's so hard to split this one. I just think with the firepower and we have not seen Freddie, Mookie, and Otani all hit at the same time during this playoff. Otani was, on a little bit of a drought earlier, and now Freeman's due. So we saw what Freddie Freeman did to the Yankees last year in the World Series. What's to say he's not doing that again this year versus Toronto? I think you pay for what you get in life. The Dodgers paid for a World Series championship team, and I think this is a World Series championship-esque team. I'm going to say the Dodgers have the advantage here with the lineup.
Yeah, and on your point on Freddie Freeman too, like what he did last season, he actually has a healthy ankle now too, so he has 2 feet that he can actually run on while doing this year. But like you said, he's been quiet this year. A 105 WRC plus in the postseason. But pretty much the entire Dodgers offense has been contributing pretty well. I mean, Will Smith is an 89 WRC plus. He hasn't been the best in the slugging department this postseason at all. Pages has been abysmal. He's been horrible this postseason for them. So he's just, I wonder if he can do anything, that'll be huge for him. Obviously, he plays great defense in center field. Shohei's picked it back up here. Teoscar Hernandez, too, a former Blue Jay, he's been great this postseason, too, for the Dodgers. It's been incredible to see what he's been able to do. Like I said, Kike Hernandez, too, a 125 WRC plus. Tommy Edman, sneaky. I always love watching a Tommy Edman at bat. One of my favorite players to watch, Major League Baseball, switch hitter, too. I think he's a sneaky guy who can make some noise here in this series. And on the Blue Jays side of things here, obviously Vlad Guerrero Jr. is a 280 WRC plus. In terms of WRC plus, he's having the 5th best postseason in Major League Baseball history with at least 30 postseason at bats. So that's just what he's doing. He's on an insane heater right now, and that includes a couple of games where he did nothing too. And obviously Ernie Clement, 195 WRC plus. Every single starter in the Blue Jays lineup out of the 8 qualified hitters this postseason, the lowest WRC plus is a 107. They are getting contributions from every single person in this lineup. It's incredible to see what they're doing here. I mean, like a Nathan Luke's 125 WRC plus. This lineup has been incredible 1 through 9. They don't have the star power like the Dodgers. They have the Vlad, yes, who's $500 million contract. He's not a Shohei by any means, but right now he's playing better than Shohei Otani is. And I think right now you're taking Vladimir Guerrero at the plate over Shohei Otani at the plate just from what we've seen this postseason. I think overall wise, this could really bite me in the ass here because the Dodgers offense can just turn it on and just make this series just nothing for the Blue Jays. But I'm giving the edge to Toronto right now in the offensive department. I really like how they're playing right now. I love how everyone contributes there. I love how they do the right things there. Obviously, it's not a lot of swing. They'll swing a lot there too. They're gonna put the ball in play. I think the Dodgers have a lot more swing and miss, and they're a lot more home run dependent. I know the Dodgers are still a very fundamental team. They'll still move a guy over, bunt a guy over. They'll still do that when the times occur. But I just like the Blue Jays offense, man. I just maybe not against like a Blake Snell, but I feel really comfortable, especially like when this bullpen. I don't even if it's let's say Dodgers are up by 10 runs and they get the bullpen in the sixth inning. I'm not counting the Blue Jays out of it because they're going to make stuff happen against that bullpen that's been shaky. I'm giving the edge to the Toronto offense right now. I just think they've been on a heater, and it's been 1 through 9. It's just been incredible to watch these guys up there.
Yeah, and it was hard. It was hard for me to give it to the Dodgers just because you're absolutely right. The way that Toronto's banging right now, they're hitting the piss out of the ball, and if Vlad, in order for Toronto to win this World Series, they need Vlad Guerrero Jr. to be hot, and nothing he's done this playoffs is telling me that he can't remain hot against opposing pitching because he's been getting the best out of everyone. Like the Yankees knew it was coming, they still pitched to him, or couldn't get him out. Whatever way they went about it. You had the same thing just now with the Mariners. They couldn't do it either, and their rotation was considered arguably the best in baseball. Behind, tied with Toronto, if not a tad worse, and he destroyed them. So it's hard for me not to give it to Toronto. I just think that I'm gonna be live betting Shohei Ohtani a home run on every at bat. It's Ohtani, dude. Ohtani's won a World Baseball Classic, and he did it with Team Japan, not Team USA. And he took down Mike Trout pitching. I know that's not hitting, but it's this guy is fearless. Freddie Freeman he got 2 World Series. He's done it with the Braves and done it with the Dodgers, and he was arguably the most clutch player. I don't. Did he win World Series MVP on the Braves? Could you check that for
I
me?
believe it was Jorge Soler, I believe, won it.
Was it okay? Yeah. So I forgot Soler went off in that World Series, but regardless, Freeman last year went off. Mookie Betts is Mookie Betts. He's got 3 World Series already, or 4. He's done this. Will Smith, 6 straight years of a Will Smith winning the World Series. Are we going to see that? A player named Will Smith has won the World Series the last 5 years, and we could see it 6 straight. The Dodgers are just, and I'll give them, since we're at 32 minutes, I'll give my prediction. I got the Dodgers in 5, and it's not to be disrespectful to Toronto. What I think is going to happen is the Dodgers are going to take a close one tonight. It's going to suck the wind out of the room. They'll take another one tomorrow. They'll go up 2-0 at Toronto, head home for 3 straight games. I think they'll lose the game that Glasnow is pitching and be up 2-1. Then they'll take the next 2 with Ohtani and then probably Snell for game 5 on the bump. And I think that's how the Dodgers are going to, take this year's World Series. Where do you have for this year's prediction?
I also got Dodgers in 5, and like I said, it's no slight to the Blue Jays. I think these are all going to be very competitive games, fought to the end, like the Brewers series too, where it was the Dodgers swept them, but a lot of those games are very competitive, a swing or two away from the game completely changing. So I got Dodgers in 5, and all very competitive games. And I'm going to take a shot here with my MVP pick. I'm not going to pick the Ohtani, the movie. I'm going with Tommy Edman to win the MVP.
I'm going to take, and I'm not copying their MVP pick. Actually, I might be. So I apologize, but Just Baseball, they know what they're talking about. I forgot if it was Peter or who.
I believe it was Peter.
They took Max Muncy, and Max Muncy is 8th in WRC plus in the league since he started wearing glasses. And you gotta think that Muncy's not going to be the guy that these guys are locked in on who to get out. Muncy's been there. Muncy's done that. I think Muncy's a good pick. I also think Kiki Hernandez, I said it earlier, he is a masher in the playoffs. Just to go a little different from Just Baseball, I'm going to go with Kiki Hernandez as my World Series MVP. Totally random. Oh, look at that.
The
Look
Kike
at that.
Hernandez Cup.
That's a great cup. Are you a Dodgers fan? Kershaw and a Kiki cup? What's going on? You got a Mets hat on? You're all over the place, kid.
Prideful with the Mets.
All right. Well, that's it from us. Go enjoy the game tonight. I'm going to post some clips on YouTube. Go continue to follow us. I put a blog out about earlier this week about one bright spot from every team that didn't make the playoffs. I don't know if you got to read that, Hagen. I actually liked that piece. Like I put that together and was like, oh, that was one of my better pieces. Um, but yeah, do you have anything else for us till next time?
No, I actually did read that piece. I did like that. I went there, had to see what you put there for the Mets, and I actually did enjoy that article. Go check that out. And then, yeah, I think I'm just excited for this World Series. Obviously, I'm just excited to just watch great baseball. Honestly, it's a very special time. I mean, it's not often that I get friends that all my friends from home that actually want to watch a baseball game. So I love just that sense of it, and I'm excited too for the off season. Obviously, very excited to dive in on that. I've been diving into some payroll stuff, so stay tuned. I'll probably drop a few blogs on Met stuff off season wise, maybe landing steps with certain guys. But yeah,
Well, that being said, continue to listen to us, like, follow. It's the way to help us out. Look out for our free blogs. They are free. If you feel like subscribing for $5 a year, I think it's something stupidly low, or it's like $40 for the year, $5 a month, or something like that. But that's how we get paid. We don't do advertisements. We're never going to spam you with blogs and all that crap because we hate that too. So, good luck to both teams. Skip review is out. Bye.